The button has been hit. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Beards of Destruction podcast presents to you episode number 3. And tonight, myself, as my co-host, Orbs, we are joined by the GILKMAN himself. Say hi, Thomas.
Hail, the GILKMAN cometh to be with these two wonderful, sexy human beings.
You heard it here first, folks. He said sexy.
All right, we're oozing the machismo of the sex and the things and the stuff, and we've been demonetized if we ever had monetization. But gentlemen, we are under the quarantine. How goes quarantine life?
Well, I'm alive, so there's that.
I resemble that remark. Thomas, how you doing, brother?
I'm alive as well.
Now, are we alive or are we staying alive, staying alive?
All right. Yeah, no, I thought you keep going with that.
Oh, no, I can't because AKA copyright, and I'm very terrible at it, and we wouldn't want to scare Amber away. Hail, Amber.
Hail,
we see
hail.
you there.
Hail.
But, so it's been a while since we did the last one. I think the last one we did was right before the conventions and stuff.
Yep.
I had PAX up here in Beantown, and you had C2E2.
That's right.
Yeah, and dude, we literally got our conventions in right before all this stuff went down.
Oh, dude, I think it was that next weekend.
I realize I'm probably blanking out in and out here in a second. So, but the thing is, even there, I remember on the second day they started putting hand sanitizer everywhere. They had folks wiping down the escalators, the doors, and everything, trying to take precautions.
Well, yeah, because this stuff started really popping off when we were going to the convention. It was here's what I had heard. I don't really pay attention to the news a whole lot. The little news that I do pay attention to is usually on your channel, memes. So I appreciate you keep me up to date. However, I knew they were saying, the flu season's bad this year. Everybody's, there's always something going on, and there's something crazy going around. And then when, so I see them putting out all those hand sanitizers at the con. They literally had one every 10 feet, which was nice. But then when we get back, all the craziness pops off, man.
Well, that's the thing. It's I heard folks talking about it. I interviewed a young lady that was living in Hong Kong at the time, a couple of weeks before that. And she was telling me it's just based upon what she told me, it's all right, a young Filipina that she knew happened to get it from her boss who was literally just walking by, so that would make one think it's highly contagious. It could be airborne. You could literally just get it from being close to somebody and talking to them, which was basically what she told me. They were shut. Basically, if somebody in an apartment building ended up coming down with it and they were confirmed, they'd basically lock up the whole apartment building for 2 weeks just to kind of make sure and stuff, and then just fast forward ahead about a month and a half, and all of a sudden just seems like everything's kind of going to hell. It's what the heck is going on?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because I stayed in Chinatown that weekend. We went to C2E2. There was a lot of people wearing masks and stuff like that, but people were scared to go there. I got a hotel so cheap. People were just scared to go to Chinatown. I mean, I don't know, if people thought that's where it originated from, but we didn't have any issues, man. We got really lucky. I think we were kind of separated from everybody with the rooms. We didn't have too many people close by, and we were only there for Chicago right now is a hotbed right now. So,
well, that's the thing. It's just because of the nature of this. It's basically normally the flu. If you're around somebody, they're sick and stuff like that. Right. If you're around somebody that's sick, okay, that's fine. But apparently a lot of these cases, you might not even have symptoms. So if you don't have symptoms and you don't know it and you have the ability to spread it, that's why that combined with up to a 2-week plus incubation period, you could have and be spreading it before you even show symptoms. That's why as soon as this stuff happened, and even when the president was cutting off air travel and stuff to China and stuff, I'm all right, if this thing is going on, then pretty much I think most of the world's probably going to have it at some point or another.
Well, and that's why the CDC came out and said that wear masks now because of everything, the new stuff they've learned about it, where you could spread it. I mean, you could literally have it, not have a single symptom of it. and pass it on to other people, which is the crazy part. So at first it was the CDC saying like, don't wear masks, it's not going to do anything for you. And now they're like, well, we should probably wear masks just so if you have it, you're not giving it to somebody.
Right. And again, I think a lot of this comes down to some mismanagement as well as the communication there, Orbs, like you were saying. It's like,
Right.
All right. I think before they didn't want folks just buying up masks, so basically healthcare workers wouldn't have them and stuff. So that was a concern there. And then when it comes down to what they should have just said in the first place is what they're saying right now. If you go out, just try to have a face covering or something like that. If you get like a bandana or something, or even just a scarf or something. I have seen some slightly entertaining things about. I was on a stream with couple of young ladies the other day, and she's like, I saw something about panties and everything. She's grabbing like these lace panties and stuff, and literally just covering her face with it. I'm like, I can still see most of your face. I mean, some folks would say it's kind of goofy. You're well intentioned there, but I'm pretty sure a scarf would work better. Do you have a scarf or something? She's like, yes. I'm like, I am not a doctor or any type of infectious disease expert, but I would recommend probably using the scarf.
Well, and I think the idea, even with the bandana, the idea is just to mitigate the breath coming out. Like it's just to tamp it down, slow it down, whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's also one of those things. I think we're all old enough to kind of remember back. It's like when we were in like grade school. It's like, oh, if you're coughing or sneezing, you're like, cover it up. That's the thing. It's like as long as you're not getting your like spit and all your nasty cooties and stuff like that. If you minimize it, you can't prevent everything, but it's like you're at least mitigating it. And
I want GILKMAN's opinion on all this, but real quick, Keshik Queen makes a good point. It's my stream now.
No. You made a bad move.
Yeah, Amber in the chat, Keshik makes a good point. I totally forgot they did this, Thomas. So the convention center that we were at for C2E2, there you are. Yep. Cool, you're back. I almost took over your stream.
It's okay. It's not the first time.
That's true. Good point. I was just saying, Amber in the chat reminded me of something. So the venue that we were at for C2E2, McCormick Place, literally a week after that was turned into a hospital for COVID patients, basically. Wow. So they showed there was these images they showed where they showed the con the weekend, or the place the weekend of the con, and then the week after, and didn't even look like the same place.
Yeah, because they had the Army Corps engineers get in there. But Thomas, you're kind of down in another part of Massachusetts. What have you seen? Because I know I saw you were out with Rosie earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been. People aren't really. When I was on my walk before the video with Rosie, there was so many people outside because this whole quarantining. Craziness is driving everyone crazy, right? And people aren't wearing face masks.
Okay, and
that's the crazy thing is, and because I would assume that you watch whenever Governor Baker or Mayor Walsh goes live, like does like a press conference, and they're always stressing to wear a mask, but nobody cares to do it.
Now is that kind of out like on trails or stuff, or are these in like supermarkets or places where there are a decent amount of people?
So my town of Natick is a fairly big town, and where I was walking, there was nobody wearing masks. Boston, there is a good amount of people wearing masks, but not as much as you would think. Newbury Street, which is one of the busiest streets in Boston, apart from probably Yawkey Way, it was dead when I was there last time, and that's not something that you see for Newbury Street.
Yeah, go on, Orbs.
No, I was just gonna say, I think part of it too is the supply. People don't realize it's like. They don't realize that you can get online and order a mask, and I'm sure a lot of places are either out of stock, or whatever the case may be. I think part of it is the supply, but I think also part of it is the fact that they don't care.
Yeah,
It's part of it, and a lot of folks they kind of seem to be a little confused and stuff, just because, like you were saying earlier, Orbs. It's like people are kind of getting mixed things, so that makes people distrustful of government,
Right.
which can totally be a problem as well. Because I mean, we should always be skeptical, but at the same time, if you're dealing with a pandemic, it's like, okay, you want to do things that make sense to people. Because I remember I heard what was it, Governor Cuomo earlier saying that he really hasn't had to give anybody a ticket for anything, just because he's like, as long as it makes sense to folks, as long as you explain, it's like, listen, you might be able to spread this even if you don't have symptoms, because you might not know. If you're going into a crowded area, just try to cover your face so you're not getting anything there, because it's going to reduce the risk likely of you potentially getting it, not as much. But the thing is, if you do happen to have something you don't know, you just do it. Because I went to a supermarket last week, and I'd say at least half the folks or more were probably wearing masks, probably keeping their distance. Like, they'd have, like, you go down an aisle, it's like a one-way aisle, so you don't necessarily have folks going back and forth between everything. So it's like, okay, no, that makes a difference and everything. And it's just being reasonable, because you can't prevent everything, but at the same time, you can try to minimize it. So it's a statistics thing.
Yeah, and it is for me. It's not even really like, oh, I want to avoid getting it. It's I don't want to give it to other people. I don't want to be that guy who ends up killing someone's grandma, because I don't want my grandma to die because of this crap.
Right.
So I just, out of respect, and that's the other thing too. Like, I actually caught this video this morning on Facebook about this guy who he was sick, called the ambulance, they picked him up, brought him there, and the doctors wanted to treat him for COVID. And he refused treatment, and I think it's because the guy was deathly afraid of needles. But like, he ends up wrestling with the doctors and stuff, because they're like, "No, dude, like we can't go back out into the world right now. Like, I don't think you get it, dude." And he it wasn't even that he wanted to get out; it's just that he was like, he's like, the revolution will be televised, and he's going on about how his mom can't get a kidney, and I'm just like, it was nothing in reference to what these doctors were saying, but it's just crazy how people get, man. Anyway, I just had to point that video. I was nuts. I'll send you the link.
And that's one of those. I've heard things. I've also heard about an individual. I think, again, I probably saw this on Facebook, but somebody was saying it's like they were plotting, or at least saying that they were considering doing something very horrific to a grocery store because many people weren't wearing masks. It's like, okay, I understand. You might have that feeling, you might think that in your head, but you must realize, as soon as you start spinning out things that's nutty bananas like that, and especially if you're putting it on social media, even if you were just joking, they have to take that seriously, because you're talking about potentially going out there and ending people. It's like, no, that ain't cool, man. If you have it in your head, that's one thing. You think it, you move on with your life.
Isn't it crazy how much, like, I had to go to the store today after work. I had the mask, I had the gloves, the whole bit, trying to just do everything right. Okay. Just had to get ketchup and milk, super simple things.
The important things.
It's amazing how much you notice people who aren't wearing masks and who are not keeping 6 feet from each other. It's amazing.
So Thomas, you said a lot of folks down kind of in your neck of the woods don't really see. From my experience in Natick, I used to go bang on doors and sell people like cable.
Oh, so you were one of those people that kept on bothering me every day. Thanks.
Way to go, memes. He's frozen.
I realized I disappeared at the most inopportune moment there. Oh, who was the quarterback before Drew Bledsoe? Do you remember? He was one of the. I remember. I ended up selling cable at his house one day. But like a lot of Natick, you have space. You have space. It's not quite like Boston or Cambridge or Roxbury or something like that, where you have things next to each other. You do have some space. So, like, for instance, like I was on like a run earlier, and I'm running. If I come across somebody going the other way, it's like, all right, I usually just try to go about 6 feet or so around. There was a time where it looked like a young Latina that was kind of going the one way, and she was getting ready to go on the middle of the road. I'm like, screw this. She looks a little bit older than me and everything. I'm going to be respectful. So I'm literally running out into the middle of the road. There's freaking like a rack body that's slowing down for me. I'm just trying to give her space, and I'm not going to ask a young woman to go out in the middle of the road. Screw that. If somebody's going to get hit by a car, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, I'm not saying that's logical in but that's just the way my mind works and stuff like that. Protect women. It's just kind of how I was raised.
No, it's the
Christ,
same
true.
here, man. I actually caused a car accident, like saving. I don't know if I was saving her, but protecting a woman once. It was pretty crazy. I jumped out of the car so quick I didn't even put it in fucking drive or park.
Oh, park.
Yeah.
Oh. Like I'm not sure you should really go into detail about that on the internet, but I mean it's all right. No, I feel you, brother. I feel you, brother.
The best part about it was the guy that we ended up, because we were in a drive-through. I saw some stuff happening behind me. I jumped out of the car.
Yeah.
Car hit the guy in front of us. BMW, nice BMW. The best part about it is the guy was super cool, and the insurance paid for all the damage on his car.
Right.
We didn't have to spend any money. Old boy didn't have to spend any money. And the woman was fine when all was said and done. Cops showed up. Everybody was cool. So
Right.
worked out.
No, I mean that's what you want, and this is the thing. This is why I say like most folks are good people and stuff, because
Right.
I've had stupid things happen where it's like literally I did something stupid. And it's like oh man, rather than say it's like try to make excuses and stuff. I'm like, listen, man, it's like it's my fault. I screwed up. Just look the person in the eye, admit fault, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, this ain't nothing damaged or anything, man. It's like go on with your day, and like that's why I believe most folks are good people, just because just a small act of kindness can go a long way.
Yeah, GILKMAN, tell us
Yes,
maybe a moment of kindness either you showed or somebody showed you in this whole craziness, man. Is there a moment that you remember specifically since all this has started?
Yeah, so and it actually involves some people within the fandom Menace. Kind of indirectly, kind of directly. So I've been out of a job for about almost a month, and I have bills to pay, and so I set up a PayPal link. I've had a PayPal for a while, and a good amount of people sent me some money to
Nice.
help out from Geek in Disguise or Crack Skull Media, 97 Bravo, It's a Trap, and a few others. And so
You're part of that too. Don't forget, Thomas. You've helped some people out too. You're a good guy, man.
yes, sir.
You deserve
yes,
all
sir.
you deserve all of that, all the good stuff that comes your way, brother.
Thank you. No, shut up. I hate praise. sorry, memes. I had to.
No worries, man. No worries.
Oh, I haven't even got to memes yet. This
Uh-oh.
lovable hunk of meat over here. Anyway, go on, Thomas.
And so and it's just the. I think that people show their true colors when something like I think it's this whole thing is a bit of a tragedy, because of how many people's lives have been lost, and also getting sick, and I think it's also it's a tragedy. It's also a pandemic, but I think people show their true hands when something crazy like this is going on. You've seen it, in pop culture, whether it's Gal Gadot doing that crazy video with all the celebrities, or you see MLB donating. All 30 MLB clubs donated like maybe 2 million or 3 million to give kids to keep the kids from going hungry. And then even in the city of Boston, there's specific places set up so families can come and get some food.
Yep.
And I love that. I think one of the things that's impacted me physically is the fact that that I've done, because with all the restaurants and bars being closed except for those that do takeout, a lot of these places are struggling. There's this really old hot dog place in the center of my town that's been around since 1925, or you have local pizza places, local restaurants, and just going and giving them some of your patronage means a lot to them, means more than anyone would ever care to admit, because they're struggling like the rest of us, and and you don't want to see these people suffer because they've given so much to the community.
Right. No, you got a lot of family businesses. I was just talking with my roommates a little earlier. There's a nice Chinese restaurant just one town over. I've been going to that place for frickin' going on 18 years this year. Man, it's like the best kung pao chicken around. I'm like, I love that stuff, and like I actually went to go there the other day, and it looked like they were closed. I realized they don't really have much delivery or anything. And I also hope it's not because a lot of folks are like, oh, well, it's Chinese food, so they're thinking the virus and stuff. I'm like, screw that, man. Those folks have been there for years.
I guarantee you there are people out there who are doing that. I mean, we can get into the whole, like, the Chinese and the racism that's going on over there right now with this whole thing. I mean, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Memes. We can talk about that another time. But, GILKMAN, you're right. It other than Taco Bell, okay, I have a weakness. I love Taco Bell. Okay, I have that. Good. That's my weakness, bro. Other than that, dude, we do everything we can here to try to go local. Because I work for a local restaurant, man. Like, I don't work on the restaurant side of things. I brew the beer, and beer sells itself. So we're not doing terrible. Also, interesting. I don't know if you guys heard this, and I know they were going to help small businesses out, but my boss was given money by the government to give more people hours. So they are required to give this money to the employees for working. They have so much time to spend it, and it has to go to the employees. So
that's actually pretty nice.
That's awesome.
That's huge.
That's pretty great of the government to do that.
Yeah. So my hours are going up a little bit, which is good. I have, however, kind of going in the vein of like what we were talking about, what you were saying, GILKMAN. It's been nice to have some time off. I think with what's going on, it's terrible. There's a whole bunch of craziness going on. People are dying, but there's good that can come from this too. And a part of that is extending that kindness to other people. Like, hey, look, I know you're struggling, man, but if you need help, here you go. Or going to that local place to buy your food, which we do unless it's Taco Bell. I kind of became friends, like you guys are talking about the pizzerias and stuff. There's so I live outside of the major city that's by my town, and just literally inside the limits. It's about 15 minutes down the road. There's this pizza place that's been around for a very long time. John's Pizzeria. It's I love the place. You go there, you go with the family, you sit down. The original guy, John, the guy that started a restaurant, he walks around his little Italian accent and talks to the family. He says, "Oh, look at the beautiful kids, like, how are you enjoying your meal?" Like, this is the guy who's owned the place for so long, and now his son, Anthony's running the place. And we were in there one day, and I think one of the kids had left a toy or something. He found me on Facebook. It's like, hey, we have this toy here. If you want to come get it, it's here. That started a friendship with this guy. And so it's funny because Amber calls the other day because, we got to shop local, right? She calls to order a pizza, and they say, okay, what's the name of the card? What's the name on the card? And she says, says my name. And Anthony's on the other line. I was like, oh, I know. It's cool. I know when you guys get here, it'll be ready for you. That right there, man. And I know that that story really has nothing to do with what's going on. But my point being here is you've established friendships at these businesses and people that you care about, and you want to be there for those people. And I think that's super important. GILKMAN, like you said, like that shopping local, man, is so huge. I suggest, and those people who have let's say you've got like thrift stores, or you've got people things that have closed down. Try to reach out to those people who own those. Find out what's going on with them. Reach out to them. Hey, I really appreciate your store being around. Is there any way that I can support you with your store being closed? Things like that, man. Like, I got a call from my comic shop the other day, and they were like, "Hey, we're lucky we got literally the last that got sent out by Diamond before they shut Diamond down. Anything over $20 will ship out for free." I said, "Where am I at?" He's like, 25 and some change. I said, "Ship them out, man." That's great. And that's being a local business, reaching out to me, establishing that relationship, which is why I will always choose to support local.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's a two-way street. I just have one question. Is the comic shop's owner named Gary?
No.
Okay.
Jimmy.
All right. No
Not a
worries.
clue.
Just inside reference.
Oh, right.
I get
right.
it.
Okay. And then so using that as a platform for this next is
Right.
I've been spending more time with the family. I've loved the time off, man. It was at Italy. Their hours, their work weeks are short, right? They get to spend more time with their family. It's nice being able to spend time with my family. I get to hang out with the kids. I get to hang out with the lady. I mean, I get yard work done. So I'm eating at home. Like if I'm not eating local, I'm eating at home. I'm eating like home cooked meals. Like
The culinary skill of the collective world is increasing dramatically, man.
It's
very true.
You got families watching movies together, playing board games together. I mean, yes, this is a terrible, terrible situation, but we can find some good in this. Like all of us coming together to talk about this, bouncing ideas. How can we help people? Who's out there who really needs the help? How can we do this? And that's what's going to get us through this, man. Is just extending that hand. Is there anything I can do? As long as you're 6 feet, anyway. 6 feet.
No, well, exactly. And Orbs, I love how you just set up for the perfect transition. Because as we were discussing before the stream, we kind of wanted to help out some of the folks there, and I've noticed some folks starting some different funds to help different medical workers, to help different folks involved in this. And what Orbs had pointed out right before we went live is some of the folks that are part of our major logistics supply chain that a lot of folks haven't been talking as much about are the truckers.
That's right, man.
So
weird guys that have diarrhea.
Well, that's the thing, and one of the big things is it's like literally we are adjusting our supply chain, and with all these quarantine rules in play right now, a lot of these truckers, they're used to going to diners, going in there and everything, because here's the thing, if you get an 18-wheeler with a 100,000-pound tractor trailer, it's kind of hard to go through most drive-thrus and everything. So it's like they're having trouble literally getting fed. They're having trouble literally just even finding a place to use the restroom or something like that. Because, I mean, if you're driving 14 hours a day, man, that's tough. So... they're
using. No, I was gonna say they're using. Porta johns that who knows when the last time they were cleaned out, taken care of. You don't know if somebody who had COVID was in there using it. I mean, you don't know these things. And these guys they're part of risking their life now too. In this video that I saw earlier, he's like, all you people are saying thank you on Facebook. It's empty to me. It's like they're just thank yous. If you want to do something, call your congressman, call your politicians. Let's get some something in play for us truckers, so we can have a warm meal at the end of the 14-hour shift, so we can have a place to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. He's like, that's how you can thank us, and it just got me thinking, man.
All right, so Thomas, what are your thoughts as far as truckers go? Because I remember you work for like the hospitality industry and stuff, so you guys are getting deliveries all the time. Like, what are your thoughts on maybe a way that we can kind of help some of these folks out?
I think that's the idea that Orbs threw out is a really good idea because, what we deal with in the hospitality industry is we deal with deliveries, like food deliveries, like produce. And some of these, there's some guys who work because it's U.S. foods. And I'm not sure if they travel, all across the other states. The guys that we have. Some of them work their butts off, and you can see it. And it's just, a way to reward, not to reward. Reward is the wrong word. But to thank them for their service, because they're going out there risking their lives, like a lot of the other people are. And I think maybe donating some money, or maybe donating something to them that will make their day-to-day better.
See, now I'm thinking, I'm not sure if there's anything really set up specifically. Maybe that's something that we could work to set up. I've reached out to some different like friends and family members, and they said they'd be all for tossing some money forward, because the idea was, okay, some form of a sacrifice. So since this is the Beards of Destruction podcast, what better way to do it than maybe have a beard off? Basically, we'll keep on growing for maybe another week or two or something like that.
As we promote it, or we'll put it together as we promote it. We'll continue to grow the beards, and then once the day comes,
Then we'll do it straight up live right here on the Beards of Destruction podcast. We'll bust out the clippers, we'll trim it all off, and then we'll have our naked faces going on there.
Yeah, and nobody wants to see that, so get ready.
It's all right. I mean, hey, these things happen. It's for a good cause. We got to think of the truckers.
Well, I even got to thinking of this like short term idea, like, okay, yeah, the money would be great, but how long is it going to take to get this money to these guys?
Right.
Either laid off or whatever. These truckers that are still moving, still working, still bringing the food supplies in and stuff. I don't know, man. What do you think? Like a roadside grill or something like that, where I mean, the weather's getting nice now. I don't know how we could get that involved. If we could like get organizations involved, and then be like, hey, on the highway, there'll be signs, or I don't know, whatever. They pull into a truck stop. There'll be people there grilling outside. Guess what? These guys don't have to go inside. They don't have to do nothing. They just got to come up, pick up their hot dogs, their hamburgers, their brats, their ribs, whatever the hell it is that we're cooking for them. They can come, relax, sit down. Maybe we have a tent out there for them to sit down in a nice recliner. I don't know. These are just ideas, man. I mean, the weather's getting nice, and I think these are things that we could do to maybe boost their morale. Hey, you know what? Stop by the truck stop on 94 and 251 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there'll be a hot dog and a hamburger there waiting for you, a nice cola, and a relaxing seat to sit down and enjoy an hour of your life, because, that may be the only hour you get for the next week.
Right. That's it. Actually, now the old noggins are jogging right now. Now, so now I'm thinking, okay, now could you kind of do a cookout and kind of, I don't know, is there a trucker app for that, or is there something maybe you could just kind of like talk to folks that got like the CBs and something and be like, hey, if you're up in the 95 corridor right now in the Greater Mass area, stop by, blah blah blah. We got some burgers and dogs for anybody that pulls up with a semi or something like that. I something like that, or even just like gift cards and stuff like that. Maybe that's probably the easiest way. Just in my mind, it's like, all right, at least if you got a gift card, they can just call ahead, and so they can just at least get a hot meal or something like that to transfer there. That sounds like maybe a little less logistics there. I mean, I love the barbecue idea, but then again, in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, we don't necessarily want all of a sudden you get like 20, 30 truckers all in because there's burgers and dogs. Then folks might have a problem with that. But
no,
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying there, though. That's what I mean. Like, if you get some kind of organization involved, I mean, like, what do you think, GILKMAN? You think about maybe I don't know, Red Cross. I don't know. I'm just throwing. I'm not saying that's the one. I'm just saying, there are people there who have a load of volunteers who are willing to do something cool like this. And I don't know. I don't know how to get the ball rolling. I just think it's a great idea.
Maybe this is an idea that I just thought up because we all know people within the Fandom Menace who have big platforms. So maybe try reaching out to them to see if they know of, companies that do that. Because I know about maybe a year or two ago, Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers did a 24-hour live stream. And the proceeds of the super chats was donated to a animal shelter out in California. So, because who would be the best person to get in touch with? Drunk 3PO.
Yeah, that boy knows all about that stuff.
He knows people.
Drunk 3PO. Even Nerdrotics, Jeremy, Odin. Because they might be able to offer words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Or, but Drunk is probably the best person.
He does do a lot of nonprofit work, so he probably has some connections, or at least be able to point us in the right direction.
Right. I see you there, Christy, creeping with your eyeballs there.
Christy.
Oh, we got Christy. We got Monterey Hope. Yeah. I've been neglecting the chat. Thank you so much for keeping me up. I'm a terrible host here.
I've read all of them. Bring that one up there. Yeah, the Hope 23 there, the truck stop. So yeah, they cut your hours back. That's crazy. Do you have just maybe you can even DM me on Twitter if you don't want to type it in the chat, but what is it like out there at the truck stop? What is going on? What's the talk? What are the truckers saying? yeah, I'd be curious to like somebody who's sees all that going down. I'd like to get your opinion on what's going on. What are the truckers saying? How do they feel about all this? The supply chains changing.
Well, that's the thing. No, Monterey's been around for a while now. I know I see him over on my friend Pete Creepy Little Book, the #1 paranormal late night podcast on YouTube.
He's great.
But oh, dude, I love Pete. But well, this is one of those things, and now my mind's going into other places too. Just because, okay, a rest stop is a place where a trucker can come, they can do their business and stuff. But now I'm thinking, who would be out? Because you don't want like necessarily non-essential personnel. So I'm thinking, I'm like, maybe and reach out to maybe like the state police department or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if their job is to make sure that people are kind of just following the thing, I'm like, I know there's a lot of like awesome cops out there that would like, hey guys, would you mind throwing like a barbecue, maybe get on the CBs and stuff like that. So that would also, in case there was a crowd, they can just kind of, hey, listen guys, just keep your distance and everything. We got a few masks for folks and everything. We got a few tables. Maybe just we got some lawn chairs or something like that out there. People can keep like enough distance apart, and like you said, be able to have a nice cold soda, a nice hot dog, or something like that. Yeah. And I mean, I think that'd be something they'd be up to. But reaching out to folks like 3PO and a couple other folks, maybe like Gary or Jeremy or something. Oh, that's a great idea, dude. I'm so glad we had this stream, man.
And then he's like, I'm so glad we had the stream, and then I gotta go. Bye. What do you think? What are you thinking, GILKMAN?
Of what?
What are you thinking? What do you think about all this, man?
I think so. I do think it's it's great that y'all want to help out the truck drivers. I do.
That's gross, Christy.
Wait, what?
Sorry, keep going, Thomas. Sorry.
I thought she said hot lizards. I'm sorry. I'm a scaly. My apologies.
Oh my god.
Go on.
But I do also think that maybe give back to the EMTs or the doctors or police as well as truckers. Because truckers are obviously an essential part of this, but also I do think, police or doctors, it's heartbreaking what they're having to experience.
Oh, for sure.
Within the hospitals. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that. I guess the way I was looking at it was like, kind of like, in this video, this guy says, he's like, oh, we weren't essential and you didn't care about us, weeks ago, but, now all of this. And what do you think? And he basically says, what do you think is going to happen once all this is over? It's going to go right back to the way it was. Nobody caring about us. So it just got me thinking, like, I definitely like the idea of helping out nurses, medical staff that maybe like, I'm definitely for helping doctors for sure, but these people are going to suffer, I think, more so than the people who think they were forgotten. Right. I don't want truckers because here's the thing: when I'm driving, I try to respect the hell out of truckers because I've never done the job, but I can imagine it's a crappy job, man. And then you've got people driving their cars, cutting you off, being total wieners when they're driving. Like, I do everything I can to make sure I give them enough room on the road. If I gotta pass them, I'll go way up ahead, and then I'll turn. You know what I mean? I just know these guys are forgotten, and they are what helps things move along. Like our stores wouldn't be stocked without these people. And I feel like a lot of them feel like they're forgotten, and I kind of guess that's where I was coming from with it. But, like even with the nurses, with, the people in the hospitals, doing the clerical stuff who have to go to the hospitals, they're still putting themselves at risk.
Well, part of this idea came from, because I noticed one of my friends on Facebook, she was actually raising money for like healthcare workers to toss them a little extra cash and everything. Because I mean, a lot of these folks are doing their jobs, and yeah, they might be able to get overtime and stuff, but then they got to like basically isolate from their families and stuff like that as well. So it's like those are the folks on the front lines, but it's just like when you look at who is essential right now, I mean, this is really just kind of telling it's like, all right, the people who basically feed the country, the people that take care of the sick. And how does a lot of this happen? Whether it's personal protective equipment or food, it gets there by way of the trucking industry, man.
That's right. That's how we are all connected. Hell, man, like, look, I bought RAM for my computer. How do you think it got here? A guy flying a plane, if I bought it
So
from
it's logistics, man.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, like without that stuff, I mean, like you can still go online and order a fire pit, or you can still go online and order a pair of shoes, and it'll still show up at your house because these people are, risking their health and potentially their lives just to bring you a pair of shoes. I mean, that kind of mentality, you know what I mean?
Right. No, and even Christy's saying that her mom works as a driver manager for a trucking company, and it's extremely stressful right now because that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you got the vehicles, but it's like you need somebody to like move those vehicles, get them going. Like I've had some interesting discussions, even like when I was doing security at like a Home Depot before. It's like, what was it? We were doing late night replacing like the huge like AC compressors and stuff on the top of the building. Dude, man, like showed up with like half a dozen of those like industrial units and stuff, and he started telling me some stories and like, dude, those folks don't mess around. Like the skills that they have to get through like a lot of those cities. Because I'm at like, dude, I've driven through Boston. Driving through Boston can be a complete pain in the butt. And like, I mostly did that driving a little Honda around. I could just imagine having like 100,000-pound vehicle that's over 50, 60 feet long trying to do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Christy says the routing and breakdowns on the road. I have seen more trucks on the side of the road, and that it's funny that you mentioned that because I've seen it recently, but it never really came into my mind until I just read her comment that like, holy crap, there has been a lot of breakdowns. Not to mention, like I was saying earlier with that video, you got trucks lined up who are trying to drop off their load. They're scheduled for a drop off at 2:00. They're not getting into the building to drop off till 5:30, 6:00. Okay, so then they have to get out of there. Well, they're supposed to be at the next load up at 5.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, my buddy Tom was telling me it's like, he's a trucker. I think he's actually laid off right now. And one of those things is a lot of people don't realize. You think it's like, oh, you're just driving the truck. No. A lot of those.
Damn memes. Killing me. I love that. Look at that smile on his face.
Hold on. I'm going to screenshot it.
Screenshot it. Got it.
StreamYard does not like Mac. Or maybe it's just my internet. Oh, no.
Yes.
I will send it over to the appropriate
screen cap.
Beautiful.
ABC or the Senate will be.
Oh no! Please don't meme the memes.
but yeah, you were saying, I was really into what you were saying. What were you saying there?
Oh no! Well, one of my buddies is like, he's a trucker too, but a lot of folks think they just drive the trucks. It's like, no. A lot of these folks, depending on the gig, they're also unloading the trucks too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you might drive 500-something miles, but then you got to unload everything, and then you got to go back. And like you said, if they all of a sudden got to wait those couple extra hours and stuff, rather than maybe getting back at midnight from their gig, they might not get back home until like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right. No, that's exactly right. And I mean, I've got an issue with my right knee. It's not like nothing crazy, but just driving from work to the house, when I get out of the car, I'm like, my leg wants to give out a little bit. But I can't imagine driving 14 hours a day to get very little sleep because it's uncomfortable. You can't stay in a hotel. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to a nice, fluffy, warm bed. And I know a lot of those guys got beds in their cabs, but for the people who don't, for the people who have to spend that extra time out there, who thought they were going to be home by 9 o'clock, now are out at 3 a.m. You're tired. It ain't safe to be driving when you're tired.
That's the thing. Well, even because I think like the legal limit, I think, is somewhere between 12 to 14 hours. I think they're starting to ease up there because like a lot of them, they have electronic logbooks. So literally, your truck is moving their time in you and everything that. So it's like, okay, you hopefully maybe if you're waiting for the extra load, maybe you can, I don't know, like find like a tree or something like that. You can kind of like conk out and grab a few Z's for like an hour or something. But like you said, they ain't like no feather bed or anything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's not a warm bed. That's not a warm. I mean, these guys are eating beef jerky and they're eating, burger that's been sitting under a cooler lamp for, a week and a half. That's their meals that they get, man. Is candy bars and, You know, and you wonder why these guys destroy the bathroom when they go into a Denny's normally, because you know they're living on the road, man. You know,
That's the thing. No, you live on gas station food all day and everything like that. It's like, dude, you are what you eat and everything. I mean, if we could do anything to get these folks, like you said, maybe like a couple like hot fresh meals or something, that would be awesome.
I would love to do that, man. Like here's the thing, man. That stuff breaks down. Those guys start getting it, and game over, man. Like we're already having a hard enough time, you know. Like, okay, so I always check just to check, and I should do some videos like you do, memes, where I'm at this store, like, you know, checking things out. But I always check to see if there's like, you know, sanitary wipes and all that stuff. You know, the antibacterial stuff. Still nothing on the shelves. Still nothing on the shelves, man. Like,
is there soap?
I did not look at the hand soap because we have a buttload of it.
Right.
So it's not really my concern, but you know, I like having the sanitary wipes. You know, if I use my card at a place, you're sticking. For those of you who haven't thought about this out there, you're sticking your credit card, sliding it in and out of things. I mean, who put their credit card in before that? What kind of habits do they have? You know, those sorts of things. So I like to have these wipes around. I wipe my card down before I put it in my wallet. Wipe my hands down. You know, I wipe my surroundings. Yeah, there's still none in there. So, but anyway, back to the truckers thing.
Yeah, it's and that's why like I'm glad we had the stream, just because it's like we're pitching some ideas around. My noggins are jogging right now. I'm just trying to think of like other things and ways that we could do. I mean, what if maybe it was kind of like something maybe like a little care package or something like that? Because that's something that I think we could literally do. Literally just send the post office if we were able to raise some cash. Basically, I don't know, maybe just make a whole bunch of like, I don't know, as sandwiches or something like that. Maybe something that'd be good for like a while, and maybe like if we had like some freeze dry or something, or even just freaking MREs, or just like like you said, some sanitary wipes, stuff like that. Just anything that we can kind of grab up that would be useful if we could kind of send out to some folks. And I mean, even if we're not able to get like, because here's the thing, we can't do everything, but even if we can make the difference in just a couple of truckers' lives and just a couple of people's days, dude, just the thought of that, just thinking that like you are not forgotten. I mean, I think that's huge.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing I want to portray. I like your idea with the sandwiches, man. I mean, we could build like okay, so here once a week at the kids' school, they pull up and they give out food to families who need it, you know, and they're these prepackaged like lunches and meals and stuff. You could totally do something like that. A couple of sandwiches, like here's enough sandwiches for 2 meals. Here's some chips, you know, 2 different kinds of chips for each meal or whatever. You know, that could be the difference. Instead of having to stop at a gas station and go in there and buy jerky, well, now they've got their sandwiches with them, at least for 2 meals, okay? We'll say that's 10 hours worth of driving right there. That's 2 meals. That's, you know, 20 minutes that they don't have to spend going into a gas station trying to find something they haven't eaten already that they're not sick of. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And that might be what gets them to that next destination. Hey, you know what? Yeah, this sucks, but it's not so bad because I got a killer sandwich in my hand and these homies hooked me up, you know, whatever. We get water, soda, whatever. It's just, I don't want these guys to think that they're forgotten, man. It really hit home with me, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I mean, like, to not have purpose in life, I mean, it's one of the worst feelings of the world, just because it's a feeling of emptiness and you want something to fill it. Even just a small act of kindness can go just such a long way to just feeling included, just being remembered, and just being able to just put a smile on someone's face can make all the difference. So I
mean, like GILKMAN, like tell me, you're a very charitable person. You do a lot for a lot of people. How does that make, when you do that, how does it make you feel, like as an individual, when you do something good for somebody?
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I lifted somebody's heart.
Okay, yeah. Now, do you feel like doing these good things for people? Do you feel like that brings good things to you? Not necessarily the law of attraction, but like it gives you a better quality of life and an understanding, you know, that as individuals we all struggle.
I guess so.
No, Orbs, don't lead the witness. Thomas, how do you feel about all this?
Good call.
I haven't ever really thought about that, but I mean, it makes me feel good inside. It makes me feel like I achieved one good deed that day.
I remember. All right. So I just want to, sorry, I keep interrupting you, Thomas, but I have to say, Thomas was the first person to ever donate money to my channel. And that day, I think I look at him go.
Oh, he's blushing. He's blushing. Oh, there's the story, Orbs.
That day, like I sat here for 20 minutes looking at my phone, like, no, he didn't. Like, dang, that's look at this, look at that. Like, it was just so cool to have somebody be like, look, I appreciate you enough and what you do. Here's a little cash moolah. And I just saying, man, like GILKMAN, I'm glad he's on this stream because he's a good dude, man. He really helps people out. Anyway, get back on this camera right now.
Thomas is one of the boys. That's why he's here.
Sorry, I keep cutting him off. I feel like
I know. You keep on orb-splaining to him.
Stop. You know what? You do that one more time, and it's gonna be Thorbs, not Thorbs. Thorbs.
All right, I'll shut up.
Exactly.
Go on, Thomas. You were rudely interrupted.
Thank you. Yes, I was. I'm gonna get my revenge on him.
No.
Eventually. When he's on with Drunk and Jeremy, I'm gonna be like, did someone ever tell you about the story about how Orbs interrupted me? And then, boom. No, so it makes me feel good inside. Quite often, or I haven't been able to do this recently because of COVID-19, but I would always go into Boston to donate some platelets. And it just gives you the best feeling in the world, the fact that, you're taking the time out of your day, because it takes like an hour, you're taking an hour out of your day to potentially save somebody's life. You're taking 10 minutes out of your day to, to just make somebody's day. And it lifts what people are going. It helps because, this world is a tough place. So the fact that people are doing that, it lifts the spirits, lifts the people around you. So, yeah.
Oh, right on. Well, this is the thing. This is why my number 4 universal truth is just small kindness can go a long way. And it's just, you both were kind of touching upon this earlier, just kind of like the ability to pay it forward, because we never know what another person has been through in their day. You never know. Maybe they just lost a family member or something like that. And just a small act of kindness can bring a person back from the brink. I know, like, that it's helped me. It's been times where I'm literally just giving up on pretty much everything, and just a small act of kindness that was not needed. Nobody needed to do it for me, but just that it would happen, and I'm just like, it always brought me back. And just this is why I think most folks are good people, just because it's been my experience with that. And I think, Thomas, you were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier. It's just sometimes it takes times to be at their worst for people to be at their best.
100%. That is, and I'll tell you, and I might have said it in the comments, but when I did that video, it was yesterday or the day before, and you said in the comments, you commented and you said, you're an inspiration or something sweet, apart from Hail Thomas memes. That meant the world. Exactly. People, tragedies always bring out the best in one another. I've seen Orbs. I've seen him go over to people's channels, and just show some support. I've seen Cash Heat Queen do the same thing. I've seen you in other people's channels, just showing support. I've even seen like people like Drunk or Ryan or whoever, show up in people's chats or show up on people's streams unexpectedly. And it means the world to people. It means the world when people are willing to go above and beyond. I know that's happened to me more than once, and it's heartbreaking, but in a beautiful, heartbreaking sense of the word.
It's filling. It makes you feel something,
I
which
mean,
is a heck of a lot better than
Yes,
nothing.
sir.
yeah. Think about this, guys. Think about this. What is the most precious currency on the planet?
Kindness.
Time.
Oh.
Okay. Now, when you go to work and you make money, you're not making money. Okay. When you buy things, you're not buying it with money. You're buying it with your time. See what
Well,
I'm saying?
as the goblins from World of Warcraft would say, time is money, friend.
Exactly. So, with that being said, when somebody takes the time to go to a channel and comment or post something or go to a live stream and say, "Hey, just stop by to support," hey, all that stuff, that means more to me than any physical item. That somebody literally took the time out of their day to comment to you, to show you love and support. Like, that to me is a big deal when somebody takes the time out of their day to show me love. All I can do is want to give it back, man. So yeah, you're right, GILKMAN. That's huge that you said that, because it's true as ever, man. The time people give to others is the most precious currency, I think.
Hmm.
You can have all the money in the world, but we're all limited in time.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Yes, sexy person.
He is pretty sexy. I did shave the beard a little bit,
Or
obviously.
I wasn't talking about you.
I know. I was talking about memes over there
Okay.
with the sexy full on beard. Like, I had the full on. I had to shave it down a little bit. What's up, Tony? How you doing?
What's up, Tony? How you doing?
That's right.
But
Tony.
yes, Tony, welcome here. Well, I know Orbs. You said you had an hour here. We're coming
Yes,
up
sir.
upon the hour here. So we got a little less than 5 minutes left. Final thoughts on all this, gentlemen.
I'll let the GILKMAN go first, because I think his thoughts are a little more profound than mine today.
No, I'll let. Can I defer last, because that way Ords can't interrupt me?
How about this? I'll go first before my outro there. But no, I'm. Thank you so much, Thomas, Orbs. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I mean, my noggins are jogging right now. All I know is, like, it's great to be here with some awesome people. All of you folks in the chat that have watching now, that have watched, that may watch in the future. Thank you, because like Orb said, it's like time is precious, and as Thomas was saying before, it's like the ability to pay it forward can make all the difference in somebody's life. There, it's just, I know it's made the difference in my life, because everyone affects everybody. And that's a two-way street there. You can go out there and you can be negative. You can be doing all your hot takes on these folks, using all this like spicy language and stuff like that and everything. And I mean, you know what? Hey, I mean, there's a time and place for that and everything. And but the thing is, that does affect people and stuff. And I've even seen it on the Twitters and stuff. A lot of times we feel like we're yelling into the ether at the powers that be and stuff like that. But a lot of those folks, they do actually see that, and like there are people behind a lot of those things, and I think we should just try to keep that in mind too, because it is a two-way street. And even if you say nice things out there too, if you can put out the positivity, it's like people do actually notice and appreciate that as well. So I'm gonna kick it over to Orbs. You're on the spot, man.
Orbs. Goddamn Orbs. All right. Yes. Thank you, Dark Ninja. First of all, says y'all make more streams. I'm down to show support. You three fine people. Thank you, Dark Ninja. I appreciate that. That does mean a lot. I love this whole Beards of Destruction. This is cool. Thomas the GILKMAN. I hope you join us for more of these. And Memes of Destruction, thank you for hosting this, and again, as always, allowing me to come out here and just be ridiculous. I just want the people who think that they're forgotten, I just want them to know that they're not forgotten, and that people do really care. Whether it be truckers, nurses, police officers, whatever, they're the people that make it everything fluid and make everything go. And without them, man, we really don't have an infrastructure. So, just any way you can, guys, go out there, support somebody. If you have a truck driver in your family, maybe make them a care package to take on the road with them. Buy them a Nintendo Switch. I don't know. Find things that you can do.
Don't play while driving.
Well, there's that too. But you know what I mean. Like, just show support to these people, because without them, you guys wouldn't be able to have your groceries, delivered to your car by the Walmart kid. So you don't have to go inside and deal with people coughing in your face. So just show support to those people, please.
Cool. Very inspirational. Thomas, your final thoughts.
Hold on. I'm going to mute for Thomas. So.
Aw, thank you, honey. Thank you to both of you, fine gentlemen, for letting me come on and preach the good word with you two lovely, beautiful, sexy individuals. It's what both of you have said is, to not let these people be forgotten, the people that don't really get looked at as being important members in this whole crisis, but they really are. And thank you again for letting me come on. It's been a blast. Oh, yeah.
Cool. All right. No, thank you, Thomas, for joining us as well. Thank you for reaching out to somebody that may or may not have been a little tardy as well. Myself included. I'm including that. I sent out the link later than I had expected as well. I was not fully a man of my word, and I must owe up to that as well. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, whatever you may identify as, for everybody that's watched now, in the future, or in the past, thank you. And just continue to pay it forward. This has been the Beards of Destruction podcast. Peace out, everybody. Stay safe, and long live the elbow bump. Oh, I hit the thing. Oh, I hit the wrong thing.